Hello everybody, this is Paige from Mosaic Moments, and today I'm doing a flip through of our May 2025 die drop dies. So if you haven't heard already, we are changing the way we are releasing our dies. If you don't know this information already, I will have a link in the description below, but our dies outside of the basic die bundle, we're basically not going to have them all the time on our website. And so what you want to do is definitely get on our email newsletter, and because that is the best way you'll know when the dies will become available. And then when they are on snapandcrop.com, there will be a limited amount of dies. So definitely get on our email. And again, if you want more information about that, please check out the link below, or you can email us. So this video is showing what we will be releasing in the month of May in 2025. Of course, you could be watching this and it's no longer May of 2025, but that's okay because you may have these dies, or maybe you'll wait for a future release and you'll get to see some amazing ideas in the meantime. First, I'm starting off with our side-by-side dies. So this is them right here. They are all 2x4. So there's this design and then there's this one. You can see that this one has this kind of diamond shape in the center, and this one does not have that opening in the center. And then it comes with little pieces so you can fill these really easily. So we are loving the side-by-side dies. This one is so amazing. This layout here, we were down in Duck, North Carolina, and we were on, this is the sound side. So there's an ocean side there, and this is the sound. And we had some photos of the landscape. So these are the water photos basically. And then this part is a different photo of some, I don't know what kind of plant it is, but it's some kind of really tall plant. And because the sun was setting, it looked really orange. And so it gave me a contrast. There's these blue in these photos and then this orange. It looks awesome. And I love the interlocking diamonds here. So cool. And this one has a nice little opening. You can add a little bit of journaling there or show a little close-up of something like I did here. So really, really cool. And this one is the same layout. It is a little different on the top and bottom, but it shows the same idea. Don't you just... This is amazing. Jody made this one, and I love the tulip photos here that are close up. It looks so good. And the little windmill in the middle here. And then she used the other parts to show the landscape as well. So you can look at kind of the difference here. So she kind of did it the other way around. So I had the close-up photos basically in these sections and the landscape here, and she did it so the close-up was here and the landscapes were in these smaller spaces. So really, really cool ideas. And of course, the side-by-side dies are awesome for those landscape photographs. Highly, highly recommend it if you like those photographs. Here is another layout just using side-by-side, and you can put two of these next to each other and they create this little diamond frame. And there is an extra piece that comes in the set that makes a full little mini diamond that can fit in between two of these. So that's pretty neat. I love that effect here. And of course, Jody used the rest to filled in the other parts of pattern paper, which she chose a really pretty pattern paper for that. So this is a really cool one. She put it in 4 different sections on a rotational layout. It's so pretty. I love all the spring photos here and a really nice side-by-side one. All right, I'm still showing side-by-side, but these ones also include the X Factor. So the side-by-side set is a great companion to X Factor. I know a lot of you want to combine different die sets. So these are 2 that are great together. So on this layout, there's 4 side-by-side die cuts here. And then there's a 4x6 X Factor here, which I feel like you almost miss. I feel like because the triangles are really small, you almost miss that X Factor in the middle. But what I love about this layout, and you can probably see it too, is the pink flowers are making this huge diamond around the layout. It's awesome. I love this design, and it's even broken up with 2 pieces of pattern paper, which if you want to do this, you will need to hand cut. We do not have a die that large. but I love this. It's pretty much a broken up diamond design. It's amazing. This one's from Jody, and in this case, she used the 4x4 X Factor and then the side-by-side on this rotational design. And what I love what she did here was, if you've been to It's a Small World, doesn't matter. This was at Disney World, but maybe you've been to the one at Disneyland. This is not pattern paper. These are actually photos of the area you see while you're waiting in line. And the side-by-side makes it so cool. It does look like its own little pattern paper, and I just love it. When she put this together, I loved this. So this is a fun idea for you, whether you go to Disney World or not. You can find these little details. It adds texture to your page. It's awesome. I just love this one. Here's another one. This one is mostly X Factor dies. So there's the 3x3, 3x4, and the 4x6. And the side-by-side are on the top and the bottom. Because I use the side-by-side, you get these kind of triangle, or I don't know, angled lines. It doesn't make a complete triangle. And I fill these areas with this bright orange paper, and to balance it out, I also put the orange paper in these two little corners in the 3x4 X Factor. It's a 3x4 X Factor with cross specifically. And this one's really cool. I filled the other sections with just the blue paper. The photos were pretty busy, so I think when the photos are busy, it's probably best to use simple cardstock or pattern paper. But this is a great one if you like Star Wars. You may want to, copy this one. It's pretty cool. All right, here's my last one with side-by-side and X Factor. This one is amazing. Jody made this one. So on this layout, this is the 4x4 diamond. So you can see it has a smaller opening. The center is a full diamond basically. So hopefully you can tell the difference here that it has that diamond shape here. And then in the center in between each of the diamond dies is the side-by-side, and it makes this really cool effect. It looks like 4 interlocking diamonds on the layout. It's awesome, and I love her colors here. It's a great fall layout. This is one you definitely want to try out, especially if you love pattern paper, but it also could be great for detailed photos like the flowers I showed before. It could be really cool on something like this. So for the rest of the flip through, I'm showing all X Factor pages, and these are kind of ones made within the past year, so kind of more recently made. This one is the 4x5 and it has a wide opening. It's of course great for those close-up portrait photos. I also like these open ones for journaling. If you find that really tricky to fit with an X Factor die, these ones are great for journaling. These ones could be too. These are the 2x3. There is a 2x3 double X Factor as well, but these ones are more open. And then up here is the 1x3. This entire layout used X Factor dies, and I used so many of these 2x3 dies. It's kind of amazing. I was able to make a lot of die cuts just for one page. And a lot of people feel like they have to mix and match all the different dies they have. And really the key to getting the best out of your dies is choosing a pattern where you can use that same die cut more than one time on a layout. So this one's really cool, and it shows a lot of details. So if you want to use a lot of photos on a layout with an X Factor die, choose ones like the 2x3 here, because you can see you can choose a pattern that uses this 2x3 die, and you can fit in a lot of photos. All right, this one is so cool. This one has the 4x4 Diamond X Factor, which is one of my favorites in the whole X Factor series. And the 4x5 is here again, and this one is the double 2x5, and we also see one of the 1x4 designs here. What I recommend with any level 3 die, I know this isn't always going to happen, but I really like using a very contrasting paper to really show off the X Factor designs. And like I said, sometimes I don't get to use something very contrasting, but when I can, I prefer to use a color that really sticks out. So in this case, I have this really bright pink on this yellow. So you can really see all those lines cutting through the photos. And when there's not enough contrast, the lines can be a little bit lost. So I made sure everything was contrasting here. I also want to point out that The Diamond X Factor has these little spots here that are great for some journaling, and I also kind of drew in some fun little designs for these double X Factor dies. So if you're someone who just likes to draw or handwrite and make little designs, this is a fun idea for you. Before I continue, I just want to let you know about our Designing with X Factor book. It has a ton of ideas, including ideas with journaling. It has 2-page spreads. We also show some ideas where we actually repeat the same pattern and show you how to fill it in differently to get the most of your X Factor dies, and lots of tips and ideas. It was even written by me, so I worked really hard to put this book together. All the samples in here are brand new for this book, and many of the samples are only shown in this book. So go check it out on snapandcrop.com. It's a great book if you love the X Factor collection. So this layout I wanted to show, and the reason why I love it actually is because I just picked a pattern that obviously could use these dies, but the X Factor collection is so huge now that we pretty much have one for every size that I can think of. There might be some exceptions, but at the moment I can't really think of any. So X Factor, in my opinion, can pretty much be used for any of our page patterns. So as you can see here, this is just a basic symmetrical pattern. I was able to add in the X Factor dies and it looks wonderful. The 3 up here and all of these have that open X Factor, meaning nothing's crossing through it. They're great for your feature photos. And then I have the 2x5 double for a decorative feature along with the 1x3 dies. So this one's really cool. Again, a lot of people ask for layout ideas, and I'm going to tell you at this point, pretty much every layout on our pattern gallery can work. So go to our pattern gallery. We do have X Factor ideas on there, but I think if you find a pattern you like, you could probably get it to work with your X Factor dies. All right, I love this one. This one is so cool. And one tip, this is more of a photo tip, but if you go to a place like these caverns or your photos are really dark, like you took them at night, I recommend using black grid paper. I'm not saying there isn't exceptions for this, but your dark photos will stand out the most on black grid paper because this grid paper is so dark, it almost makes these look lighter. So that's one photo tip from me. But for the actual layout, this one is so cool. This is the X Factor diamond again. You can see we love that one. This is the 2x3 that is open, and then the 3x5 that is also open. And what I love about this one is these corners make a huge difference. They seem like, you know, they don't seem like a very big deal, but as you can see, because of the little corners, I was able to complete that full diamond. So you're able to fill in, you're able to fit in those, you know, photos that are more closer up or show more of the details and still get that amazing X Factor design in, or in this case, I guess it was a diamond design. So I love this one for that reason. It's kind of allows for more photos, but it still sneaks in that really fun design in the middle. All right, this is a fun one. Okay, they're all fun. I keep saying they're all great. They're all great because you know what? All of these are so good. I think these are some of our best pages we've ever made. But this one, when I made the X Factor book, I discovered a lot of things. And one of them is you can create a giant octagon and it's super easy. So I'll point out you'll need a 4x4 die. So this is the 4x4 X Factor. The other one is the diamond, but you could do either one in the middle. And then I have the 3x4 here with cross, but this might be able to work even with the open one. And then I have the 3x3. There's 2 different 3x3s. This is the one with the cross in the middle. And so to get the octagon shape, you would need this design and then use the 3x3 with the cross. And then what you need to do is in these 4 corners, place the same thing or something that's really contrasting to the other photos. So you could place a pattern paper here. I have a layout where I put journaling here. This one I used a close-up of these lava rocks, which were really cool and were contrasting enough to see a separation between this and the photo next to it. And as you can see, the layout creates this giant octagon shape. It's amazing. So X Factor is not just exclusive to X's or diamonds. You can create awesome octagons as well. I love it. All right, this one is also very impressive. Again, we have the X Factor diamond in the middle, and I placed in photos of, I don't even know what this plant is, but it is photos of some kind of plant that was close up. And then I have the 3x4. This is the open one. And then I use one of the 1x3 sizes. And then I actually used the 3x4 with cross on the top and the bottom, because that helped me complete this full diamond shape. But as you can see, I use the same photo and all the rest of the spots, but it still looks cool with the line going through it. And again, the 1x3 die is so small, but look how cool that is. And these are photos of close-up rock. I did have a little bit of pattern paper in this layout as well, but so cool. Again, this one's just like a 3-column design, and with the X Factor dies, it looks so cool. If you're tired of basic layouts, pretty much grab the X Factor dies to make it a little more exciting. And just one photo tip is to take photos of signs. It's basically your journaling. Of course, it doesn't show the year or anything like that, but I love taking pictures of signs because it's an easy way to remember where you were at the very least. Here's another one. I love this design. This is, again, the Diamond X Factor. And this is the 1x4. And you can see how the paper's like flowing through it. In the book, I say it's kind of like water running through your page. Really cool. And then this is the 3x5. And you can see it left a lot of room for adding these photos. So these photos show the Natural Bridge in Virginia. If you haven't been there, it's a pretty cool place. And as you can see, it's very tall. And usually you need to take vertical photos. So I really liked having these 3x5 X Factor dies to give me the space to add these in. And what I love too is these little corners. Do you see it makes a little mini diamond in there? It's pretty cool. Okay, I love this one too. And these are just all my favorite because I just think all of these are just so good. But this one has the 4x6, the 2x4. There's also a double 2x4. This is the 2x3, which we've been seeing the one that's open, but this is the double 2x3. And there's also the 3x4, which I mentioned earlier that these kind of open dies are great for journaling. So that's what I put in these two sides. So if you might be like me, journaling to me needs to feel balanced on a layout. And so for this one, I actually used the green paper because there's a lot of green in my photos. So the green paper helped match with my photos. So that's kind of one of my tricks is with journaling to use a color that's mostly seen in your photographs or a pattern paper you have on your layout already, as long as it's not really busy. Some pattern papers you can write on it and some of them are just too busy for that. But that's just one tip for me when it comes to journaling. But this one is so cool because it gives you that diamond. So again, this is the 2x4 with the little triangle here. And of course the rest of it's left as a photo. So that way this gets highlighted a bit more. And then you can see how on the 4x6, I have the same pattern paper, and then I filled in these sections to continue that diamond. It's so cool. I love this one. And I did choose a bright pink for the X Factor die cuts, so it will stand out a lot more. This one is from Jody. I really like this one. It's kind of the basic X Factor design we've done for a really long time. So these are our 3 original dies, the 4x4 X Factor, the 3x4 with cross, and the 2x4. So in the many times we've made this layout and we have the 3x4 on the top and bottom as well. And Jody thought to use the 2x4 instead. And I like how it allowed her to fill in this rectangle space with pattern paper, but you could have also used these as journaling spots as well. So if you want to keep your journaling spot in a basic shape, that's another good way to go. And then of course in the 4 corners, we have also basic shapes. And I think it can be nice to just use the basic shapes with it as well to keep things simple. You know, if one layout looks really busy, your second layout can use the basic shapes in some areas. And I do sometimes think the basic shapes help highlight the main X Factor area because there's that contrast. So this is a really nice one. Again, I really liked how she used the 2x4 in here. All right, here's a fun one. So this one's the same design as the cavern one I showed earlier, but I wanted to show this one because it's really fun. You can see how she showed the dolphins and or at least a few of these. I don't think there's one in there, but I really like that. And she has the 4x4 diamond here with some journaling and that she hand wrote. If you want to handwrite your journaling, what I recommend is drawing in lines with pencil. You use your ruler, and I use my cutting mat to line up each line with pencil, and then I write in what I want to, and then I write over it the words with pen and then erase the lines. So I hope that makes sense. Basically, you create lines with pencil and then write in what you want, and make sure you use pen when you're got your final words down, and then erase the pencil lines. So really nice one. She even added a couple of stickers in there. So this is a really fun one. I like this one too because it's mostly blue, and in the center it stands out more because of the red. All right, here is our last layout. This is a nice simple one. X Factor, you know, a lot of these layouts, they showed a lot of little spots, right? But what I like about X Factor is you can go really simple, and guess what? Your layout does not look super simple in the end. So here we got the 4x6, 4x5 here. And then there's this 1x4, which looks beautiful. I just love that a lot. It's really small, but it adds a lot to your layout. It makes it more interesting to have these little dies. And then there's a 2x2 in the middle. She could have added journaling there, but I do like the little bit of pattern paper there. And of course, a layout like this is great for portraits. This is her daughter. So this layout turned out really good. It's really pretty. And like I said, it's very simple, but it looks so good with the X Factor dies, and it adds a lot more interest to your layout. Alrighty, that is the end of today's flip through. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And I want to remind you that the side-by-sides were included in this flip through as well. And if you are watching this and we don't have these dies available right now, please go sign up for our email newsletter. I'll have the link in the description below, so that way you're in the know of when these come out again. And if you already have these dies, I hope you found a lot of great ideas for you to use. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.